grooves for people to move to, because dancing moves quicker than drumming usually. So you pay attention to dancers and you can learn or come up with grooves that fit the new dance. You know, that's really how, you know, a lot of the beats evolve. Is, you know, there's a new dance. And you know, when everyone was doing the WAP in the 80s, you know, it was like, so I would always pay attention to all the new dances like that were going on and try to get a sense of, you know, what people are into dancing to at that particular time, and having that affect how you play drums, and going out to the club, going out to a dance club and paying attention and seeing what the moves are, you know. Like my mom used to watch Soul Train all the time, you know, when she was getting ready for a gig. My mom's a drummer, so she'd be on the Soul Train, she'd be doing her makeup, and I would just be hanging out, you know, because I would have to carry the drums out every day. That was my job. I was my mom's drum tech growing up. And so, you know, I would pay attention and just try to look, you know, of course, you know, what James Brown did as a dancer and what Michael Jackson took from that and made 2.0 is, you know, had a huge effect on the way that I play and a lot of ways, you know, a lot of drummers play. So always pay attention to that. Any other questions? Go ahead.
Before, were you using heel toe?
I was using heel toe. I was telling these guys, I had an accident when I was in 7th grade. I was moving a piano in class, and a piano actually tipped over and fell, and I tried to hold it up, and it fell really fast, and it cracked my leg in half, my ankle, right? So, yeah. And I had already been playing drums I was like, what, 13, 14 years old. And I had to relearn how to play the bass drum. And I created this new style, which was a little easier. If this is the ground, and this is your heel, and this is your toe, I go like this. All right, it's a real simple thing. So if I'm doing it's if I'm doing straight, and if I'm stomping, I'm heel up. So it's, you know, it's a combination of all that. So I'm definitely do the rock, you know, the rock back and forth. Some cats do side to side. They put their heel up, and you know, if this is the ball of your foot, some people go like this to get doubles. That may be easier for you, you know. It's all about, you know, what feels most comfortable for you. Some people slide forward. They start at the back of the pedal. They slide up. And you know, that's a really common style, you know, where you just use your toe. My thing is easy for me because it just requires a little rocking motion, and I can use my heel, and that's just my heel. I'm using my leg or my heel for that, so that helps out when I'm just, you know, trying to stomp out a groove with these guys. Thing where you just practice some doubles and also doing inverted doubles, which is dun 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 dun. So I would just kind of do that for a long time until the kick felt really comfortable. So bass drum practicing is a huge part of my thing. I wish I worked in my hands that much. My hands kind of slack because I kind of really concentrate a lot on that. But dance music is about the bass drum. People dance to the kick drum. If you watch a second line band, the bass drum is leading the whole thing, you know. So I would, you know, I recommend doing as many exercises you can and just kind of letting your hands create melodies and things while your bass drum is working, you know. You go ahead.
I'm one of your biggest fans of
Thank you.
Medicine.
Appreciate that.
The other side of the Doyle family as well.
Okay.
I just wanted to know, you got a chance to play with James Summerfield, and I know that Get Greasy is one of your newest cuts, and being in the pocket is kind of like what I really admire about you guys. You guys will stay hooked and locked. Did you learn a lot of that from James Summerfield?
From James?
Yes.
Mr. Brown?
Stubblefield.
Oh, Clyde Stubblefield.
Clyde, I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's all good. Yeah.
James is
Yeah, Clyde was Mr. Brown's drummer. We were supposed to call him Mr. Brown. Real fans of James call him Mr. Brown. Yeah. So, yeah, Mr. Brown had two, many drummers. His two main ones were Jabbo and Jabbo Starks and Clyde Stubblefield. And Clyde, Jabbo, had a lot of the more hip hop sounding swing feel, groove. Talking loud and saying nothing. That's like more Jabbo, his feel, and then Clyde was the one messing with the backbeat. So I try to approximate his left hand by going quarter note into the snare, playing eighth notes like this. You got your quarter notes in your hat, and you have this underlying 16-note, almost marching band thing happening on the snare, and you have your accents on top of that. And then the simple kick, that's what my favorite part of it, is that the kick isn't doing too much. It's really concentrated on more of a snare pattern and the quarter notes, and that's basically, Cold Sweat and
Make it funky.
what's that?
Make it funky.
Yeah, Make It Funky, Make It Funky slower, that's like more Jabbo style. What was that? Super Bad is, the classic. And Clyde's thing was he would always play an accent before, he would always play a slight ghost note before all his accents. So that got me thinking about da come So you watch his wrist. There's a couple of videos of Clyde. You can go home, check this out. His wrist snaps when he plays. And that's how he gets that sound. So I started practicing double strokes to get that stronger, to pull that out of the drum like this. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Those are all middle drum to rim shot. And those help me get those kind of Clyde Stubblefield sort of ghosts, because that's what he does. He snaps it, because basically they came from Bobby Blue Bland, who's a blues, so they play a lot of shuffles growing up. That's what Clyde was saying, and they did a lot of. When you do that, your left hand is snapping, da-ah. And so when he brought that to funk, so I kind of like to bring those patterns, the underlying patterns underneath the accents out, and that's what Get Greasy is. Come on, Joe. just enjoy playing grooves that feel good. And what I like to do is, as far as eye contact with other musicians, when you are able to find them during a song, it's not about staring at them, it's not about, but sometimes one look of like, yes, this feels good, that could do a wonder for a groove, and then the crowd can see that, or they're communicating. They're looking at each other. They notice that sort of thing. So I'm not a starer. Sometimes he'll get mad at me if I'm. That just means I'm in the zone trying to find the pocket. It's not there yet. So I'm like, I got my head down, like until it feels right. And I'll come up, and he's right. He's always right there, like, it's good. I'm like, yeah. That's why he's my best friend, because he always groove check, pocket check. He's my metronome. He makes sure it's in the pocket. If I'm dragging a little bit, didn't get enough sleep last night, he's gonna let me know right then. Not later, not after the gig. Come on. It's gotta be right there, So without having honest musicians around you, it's kind of impossible to grow, for me. Thank God I met these guys, and they were, we became friends enough and we're cool enough. They know I love music so much that there's nothing they can say that is really gonna break me, at this point. So it's like, go ahead. Like, how did it feel tonight? I want an honest, I don't want a fake answer. I want, this song was cool. This song ended up a little slower than we started. Like they're very honest guys. Like and they all have drummer-like rhythm, or like perfect kind of just, like they can just. You come back 3 days later and it's, they like pretty much every guy in my band has like this insane ability to keep time very, very well, and not even in like a metronomic sense, in like a human sense that feels right. So without the honesty of friends like him, and I wouldn't be right here and where I'm at right now. So I would recommend finding those musicians that tell you the truth without having a chip on their shoulder, kind of just the honest, good truth that's going to make you a better drummer. Go ahead.
I've actually played with Jungle Boogie, but what I wanted to get around, how much of the group, the Meters, have an influence with y'all? Because I listen, I know you keep saying James, but I do notice a lot of old vintage funk, like
Yes.
Meters,
Yeah.
little Parliament when Jesus.
Yeah.
Hear that Parliament.
Yeah, Parliament's a huge, Parliament Funkadelic, those records are huge to us. The Meters, we went into that before. Obviously, the New Orleans movement of drumming is huge. And, these old records are, what we spent our college years doing from 18, 17 on. We met it when we were 16, but we were already into some of those records, and then we continued with the whole sharing, like, have you heard this one yet, and send it back and forth. And it still happens. I'm still finding songs that I never heard before that I'm send around, but have you heard this yet? But yeah, the Meters are huge. Zigaboo Modelis has become a friend of ours over the years, the drummer, and he one of the coolest cats you'll ever meet in your life. If you ever see the Meters and Zig is playing drums, say what up, like he's the coolest. And he just invented his own style of playing. He doesn't sound like any of the guys from his era, James Gadsden or Purdy or Idris Muhammad even. He has his own thing, and even just Sissy Strut, just the way he does his hi-hat, it's so the way he throws his So, that song is really important, as far as the looseness of it, the greasiness. I got to do, I was fortunate to do double drums with him once in San Francisco, where he lives. And I just got to just watch how he plays, and he was throwing phrases at me, and I was throwing phrases at him. We just had a blast. So, yeah, like Zig, he's a god of, of New Orleans drumming and of just funk drumming in general. And the funkadelic influence is huge, Tiki Fullwood and can't think of names
Jerome
right now. Jerome Braley. It's early. I'm up late last night, but yeah, those kind of guys. As far as I tell my students come in and they want to learn my Schofield stuff and all that drum and bass stuff, and I make them go, let's get into Jerome for a second. If they can't just come in and just understand four on the floor. And I had a keyboard player friend, James Hurt, who just taught me about it's kind of, I forgot what he called it. Just developing that feeling where you're going one, you kind of, it's like you're just bouncing between it. And I feel like Jerome did that the best of anybody, and the beauty of four on the floor drumming, he owns, like that's his world. Like, so what, we have a song called Blast Off that is a tribute to that style, and it's not disco. Like a lot of people associate that kick drum pattern with disco music, and this was happening prior to disco. Disco was the fashionista of that style. It was like sped up, and they put this. Basically all the funk was gone. Like in the later disco with, the Bee Gees and stuff. But, when Four on the Floor was first introduced, it was through P-Funk and through what Jerome did. We'll play the groove that, the blast off. Yeah. So yeah, there's a beauty in Four on the Floor and what it can do to a room of people that want to dance and want to move, and they're tired of all our what we think are the cool kick drum parts. All that accent and stuff. You could throw a Four on the Floor down and just really run the room and get everybody's. So we like to start our set with that a lot of the times to bring everybody in, everyone that it's like, oh, they're like, okay, everyone come together. That's kind of like our calling, come in, come close to the stage, let's do it, and that's how we draw them in, and then we slowly get more and more, away from that during the night, and then we bring it back, occasionally. So, what that beat means to us is huge, and that whole movement, and then Dennis Chambers came in with P-Funk and messed everything up.